Welcome to New York.
I didn't kill her.
What?
I didn't kill her.
What?
I didn't fucking kill her.
Oh my god! Hello my beautiful geekies and welcome to a new collab video in which we are actually doing a review, and that is for HBO's The Night Of. The title actually ends like that. I was confused dude, don't worry. The Night Of is an HBO miniseries consisting of 8 episodes. The first episode is 1 hour and 20 minutes, the last episode 1 hour and 30 minutes, the episodes in between 1 hour. This stars Riz Ahmed and John Turturro and is about this young man, played by Riz Ahmed, who steals his father's taxi to go to New York downtown and go to a party. He meanwhile meets a girl, he has sex with her, amongst other things he does at her place, and then he wakes up in the kitchen in the middle of the night and finds her stabbed multiply all over her body, tries to escape. He's found guilty, he goes to court, and John Turturro is his lawyer, goes to defend him, and I've taken too much of your time right now. By the way, this will contain spoilers for the show. Not that we will want to spoil you, but we will not be careful about what we say to worry about spoilers. So, there's your warning. I still love you guys. Okay, so let's start with your thoughts. What did you think of this show that I recommended to you?
That's true, you recommended. I would say like the best part for me of the show is obviously the photography and the directing, very beautiful, and also the acting is very well done, and the script, all of those technical aspects that you request of a good thing. The fact that it's a mini-series helps because obviously there's a lot more quality when you have less things to shoot and you have such a great story like this. However, I did feel like it was a little bit too long for what it needed to be. There were certain parts that I would probably cut off, or like just to get a little bit more condensed, because the story is so very simple. However, the fact that it had those extra parts, very long shots, very long dialogues, I think it also helps with the overall identity of the show. And what are your overall thoughts?
I really love this show. I love this show from beginning to end. Just, it's a noir, but it's also a cop show, but not really a cop show because it's more of a courtroom drama, but a courtroom drama that works so well. It's also a prison drama. You also get to know really well these characters. There's great character work amongst the script and the performance, the research to work on these characters as they are on screen. The actors all do a great job. The writers do a great job. The directors, the photography of this show. Wow. I
can just tell you that to address more of the time of the show and what they could have done with it, maybe cut a little bit on like the lawyer drama. There were a lot of lawyer drama in it, like what's her name, the girl, Miss Kapoor.
Yeah. I
think her part was a bit longer, and I would focus, or maybe add to the show, I don't know, on the prison, the overall dilemma of Naz in prison.
Yeah.
Because that's very, very cool, and it really reminded me of the Shawshank Redemption there.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, it's a noir.
Yeah.
That is true. It has a lot of
absolutely.
noir elements to it. It has the femme fatale at the beginning. Unfortunately, she's the one that dies. Not
she's
the guy
fatale, alright.
Yeah, that's true. After that, it's just trying to solve this crime. We, at the beginning of the show, discussed like who could be the killer, and we were on it. We were trying to guess it. None of us did.
Because when we started suspecting who it was, the culprit, and then he had show up.
That's true. That's true. It was very close to the end that everything came together.
I think many people who have watched the show are not satisfied, and many people who are yet to watch the show will not be satisfied when the show ends the way it ends. But to me it worked because the show was never about who did it. True. It was always about, did Nas do it?
That's true.
And we were always pulling for him, please don't have done it.
Yeah, and I think up until the last second of the show, you're still doubting.
Yeah.
Even though you had like clear hints that he didn't do it, you were always like, well, could he have done it? Could it be him? Up until the end of the show,
Yeah.
that was very interesting.
The character was really well worked for you to root for him and to understand that this guy wouldn't really be a person who did that. I mean, he could have killed her by accident. I love that he actually accidentally stabs her in the hand.
Yes.
And that you can lead to the police suspecting him and whatnot. You understand why the police thinks the way they think. Because I love that in this show, you get the darker side of New York, as in the city itself, the way how people act and think, but you also get the lighter side of New York, and you get always that hope and the American dream, and there are actually good
Yes.
people in this such dark world.
And the fact that you said that people would not be satisfied with the ending.
Yeah.
Guys, this is a real story. This could easily have become, one of those twisty endings, which would kill the momentum of the show, because it is meant to be real. It is meant to be that you feel that this could have happened in real life.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It was based on true events. So
Yeah.
if you're not satisfied with the ending of the show because you thought it'd be something different, think about it as real life. This is what would happen.
Even the fact that he's stupid on the last episode in the courtroom, that is so real, and you both feel for him and you are screaming against him, and that's how much
Yeah.
you care about the character. He tells about how he was nervous, he was panicking, he wasn't thinking. When you are like that, you are thinking about some things, but you are not thinking about others. You are thinking in fragments, let's say, though your brain doesn't work. Okay, I'm going to pick up the knife, so the knife is not here, that's the best thing to do. Well, if he was able to think a little bit, he would actually not maybe
Yeah.
pick up the knife.
I was always like, he's such a dumbass.
Yeah, I know.
Like, why would he do that? But probably that's what I would have done, what you would have done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a difference when you're watching a movie or a series and you scream at the characters and not at the writers. Because let's give the easiest example, and that is horror movies. Many times in horror movies, characters do something stupid, and you're like, what the hell? But you're actually screaming at the screenwriter. Why would he write this character that does this, this, and this, do that all of a sudden?
That's true.
But when you scream at the character, I think it actually speaks to how much you care about him/her. And Naz in this show, it was always that guy that, I don't want him to have done it. I don't want him to be culprit. Because in the first episode, I think the first half hour to 45 minutes is always built on, this guy comes from a humble family. Of course, he's Muslim in New York,
Yeah.
in America, after 9/11. It's not easy, of course. He lives in a very poor community, comes from humble beginnings. And he's always closed up in his community. He goes to school, he goes home, he goes to home, he goes to school. After that, he doesn't even know where uptown New York or downtown New York is. He's never gone to the city alone. And I think that speaks so much, again, to the character work and the character that you actually care about. But now let's actually talk about the guy who maybe stole the show. And that is John Turturro.
Yeah, oh my god. I think, first, his character was amazing.
Yeah.
He was my favorite character. Was he your favorite character?
He was.
First, the character is so interesting. You have this guy, he has a son, and his son is black, first of all. When you realize that, you realize why he does what he does, because he's a lawyer and he only tries to take on pleas for problematic kids, problematic people who are obviously guilty. So their only way to get out of prison or to get like an easier sentence is
Parole.
And pleas, and that's what he does, his life. And you get it from the fact that he has a son, and he doesn't want his son to be a stereotype. He doesn't want his son to become one of these people that he's trying to defend. And at the same time, you have this very big dilemma, which was the funnier part of the show, and I would say the one that they lost a lot of time with and didn't necessarily need to, which was his
Condition.
Yeah, he has a skin condition.
Yeah.
It was funny because he goes throughout the show trying to find a cure. When he finally does, it's funny because he has this support group, and he's like, oh look, I found a cure, and all of them are just like,
wow.
How? That's really cool because it's kind of a comparison to Naz's journey, because Naz is very guilty, and John Turturro's character has a very bad condition at the beginning, and then Naz is starting to look less guilty. John Turturro cures himself, and then on the last court, on the closing statements, John Turturro's condition comes back like worse than ever, and that's when Naz's character really becomes guilty at the eyes of everyone, because there are some incriminating evidence. I think it really plays out well, and I really enjoyed his performance.
Yeah. First of all, he's John Turturro. he's never doing anything wrong. He's the
True.
best part. He's the only funny part. The humor that works in the Transformers movies. Let's forget I mentioned that. And I love this character. I loved every single aspect of him. The way the camera even worked around the character that they were filming. The first shot you see him in is from the cell. And you see Naz in the desperation about, what am I going to do? Am I going to tell my parents? Am I guilty? Am I not? He's even thinking about that. And then through the cell you see John Turturro coming in and you're like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
And then he comes in and he takes over the show. There's 1,000 quotes you could take from him. The things he teaches Naz, the words he says to Miss Kapoor. I mean, doesn't matter if you're innocent, the truth doesn't matter. If you look guilty, you're probably gonna be guilty. That's not exactly the quote, but I'm paraphrasing, but the message is there. I love his journey. I love how lonely he is. From what I took, his son is the son of that prostitute that he has sex with.
No, the son's mother comes in. She's also black.
Yeah, but she's a
the
prostitute.
I'm not
from
sure.
what I understood.
I'm not sure if it's the prostitute, if she used to be, or if it's the prostitute he sleeps with.
I know she's not the prostitute he sleeps with on the show, because that prostitute is one he goes to court with.
But she's probably
But I think
a prostitute.
the mother of the kid is a prostitute
Or
as
was.
well. Yeah, or was.
Or was, yeah.
Yeah, he's really well written. I love his arc. Again, he's the biggest arc, the most meaningful arc. I love how he involves himself with every single person on every single level of this case. The other lawyer, Naz's parents, the other lawyer that comes in mid-show, then with Miss Kapoor, and then he starts teaching her.
Yeah.
After being involved and trying to get into the case, and he involves himself with Box.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about in a bit. And then the judge, I love his character. The way he starts, the way he ends.
And he starts as Naz's lawyer, then it is not his lawyer anymore, but still he's still there. Then he's just a consultant, and at the end, he's the one that pretty much frees him. Although it's not him that does it. I mean, I think Box has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, because the other lawyer quits prosecuting him.
I think he's just an interesting character. Yeah. It worked so well. If you were to do, this is based on true events, if you were to like do a movie or a show on this, he would probably be the character you wouldn't focus on. You'd probably try to focus on the guilty person or the dead person or the other lawyer who's trying to convict Naz. There are so many characters you could have gone with, and you go with this lawyer who has this ups and downs throughout the show. It's just, he leads it very well as well.
Yeah, I like that this lawyer came in and he was like, well, you're going to be Naz's co-star, let's say. You're your own story. Basically, Naz could have been a non-character on this show, and he would have been following John Turturro around and would have still been a great show.
And you wouldn't mind,
Yeah. Before we talk about Box, let's talk about Michael Kenneth Williams as Freddy. Didn't get a lot to the character himself. We knew his purpose. He was very straight to the point. He didn't exactly get an arc. To me, he didn't feel like he needed to. I love this actor. I really enjoy the character. I think he was one of those characters, look, this guy's going to come in, he's going to do what he needs to do and not anything else. We already got 2 co-stars, we don't need any other. But he was really important to Naz's development and arc as a character.
True. I would like to see more of Freddy just because I thought it was a very interesting part of the show. It let me really wondering because he does have a lot of influence over Naz, and the kid transforms himself from day to night. It's just unbelievable, the power that a person has in such a small place as a prison. And literally, this is this guy's whole world.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see that because we are here, we have a whole world, and we never feel important over anyone. Unless you're like a politician or something, if that's your job, you know, to be an important person, to be famous. For us, we have the whole world to feel that about someone. And in there, they have that community, and it's like, this person is very powerful. He's the most powerful person in here, and you want his protection. It's just very interesting. It's a very interesting subject to explore.
Yeah, I think it was a small element, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. But if you look at Box and Freddy, those characters do get things done in the show, and you know that Box is a veteran detective, is about to get into retirement. He does actually get into retirement. And Freddy inside prison is also a character who gets things done, mostly like Red in the Shawshank Redemption, again a similarity. Yeah. But I think it speaks to the fact that if you have a name, if you know what I mean by this, you get things done. you are effective. You can get people
Yeah.
into and out of stuff, and you can get through life. But if you don't have a name like Nas and Jack Stone by John Turturro, life will get hard for you.
Yeah.
And I think I'm actually seeing a lot more to these 4 characters now than before, and I really like it. Let's talk about Box, because I think this character was kind of forgotten in the middle of the show, but I don't think he would have anything to do in the middle of the show since he was in retirement. And the little bits you saw of him worked to make the struggle of this character real. The struggle is real, bro. But I really liked him. I like how he started. Well, this guy's really cool. This detective is actually trying to help Nas. And then he became a son of a bitch. And then you didn't like him at all. And then he was prosecuting him. He wanted him to be guilty even though he wasn't sure.
You don't like him, you like him, you don't like him, you like... Yeah.
And then he ends up being kind of
the hero
of the story.
Yeah, it's like this inconsistent character.
Yeah.
And I think it's still added to the show, his character.
Let's talk about now a character we didn't like. I didn't like. And that is Miss Kapoor.
Oh no. I'm not sure if it was her performance or her romance with Nas, which didn't work at all.
It's not even a romance.
It wasn't a romance. It was like this flirty thing, and then they're kissing, and she's smuggling things for him. I just think that, and I'm not sure either if it was her performance. The character overall is just very flat.
Yeah, she has no connection, no scenes, no relation with Nas, and then she goes to see him one time at his cell, and she kisses him. And to Nas's character it works, but not for hers one bit. And I think it came way too abruptly. I think she was way too stupid. I think if we would have seen something from Nas afterwards, that he wanted to kiss her so he could, let's say, incriminate her and have John Turturro being brought back as his lawyer, that could have been a really good thing, even though on her part it would still have been stupid. But I think it was really a poor writing on that character and on her whole purpose on the show. I think it was really poor. I could have done without her.
Yeah, that's true. I think she was there so that, you know, the lawyer that leaves Nas, so that's not very abrupt in the sense. And she could have worked as a love interest if they had developed it from the start, maybe.
Yeah, she was a college student like Nas or something.
Yeah, but, you know, I think she was good as, like, a second attorney. As, like, an advisor, not exactly, like, a lead. Because she becomes kind of a lead at some point, and I didn't like that.
Yeah. Favorite episode?
I don't have, like, an exact favorite episode. I really liked the first episode. I was grabbed onto the first episode. It didn't even feel like an hour and a half.
No.
It didn't feel like an hour and a half. It was like an introduction episode. It was very well done, all the pacing and everything. But overall, I watched this show as like a movie with all the episodes connected, and it was just so consistent. It was like this very consistent show. I don't remember like a high point or a low point, and a best episode or not a best episode. I think the one that stands out is the first one, just because it's the most different out of all the episodes.
To me, it's also the first episode. I don't remember a show. Actually, I'm almost sure I never watched a show that the first episode gets me so nervous for this character, the main character, and gets me, what's going to happen? Are you going to stay in prison?
Yeah.
Are you not? Are you going to get home? Please get home. Oh my god, what happened? Why did you kill her? Wait, did you kill her? Why is she dead? Please don't be dead, girl. And everything worked on the first episode to a T. I think you can call the first episode a perfect episode. Even the last episode, I think you can call it a perfect episode. But the first, as an introduction to the show, as a beginning to the show, as your end point to this show to get you hooked, I think it works perfectly. I would love to own this show on Blu-ray. I would love to watch it again. And what are your final thoughts?
I'm just gonna say that in that final episode there were 3 key moments that I loved but also yelled at the screen a lot. The first one is when he sees the girl, just like that shot of him seeing her dead. It's so real, so...
the way he lights the lamp and
then turns it off, so and then he's like, what the hell? Well, there's actually 4 key moments. The moment he breaks into the house to retrieve his keys, it's the moment you think, oh my god, you're so stupid. Why the hell are you doing that? You're gonna leave evidence. But again, you're also thinking, well, how would he leave it without the taxis, without the cab's keys? And it's like that doubting moment. You're not sure if he's guilty. You're thinking he's so stupid for going back, but at the same time he needs to go back. Then the moment he gets caught by the cops, leaving the house, it was that moment. No one knew he was guilty. The cops were just thought he was drunk. They were called into the house. And up until the fourth key moment, which is the moment she takes off the knife out of his jacket, which was this amazing, amazing thought out moment, because the detective is describing the murder at the same time as she takes out the knife. Is just unbelievable. And it's that moment where you think, okay, this kid is screwed and we're on a ride right now. But final thoughts, I really enjoyed it, really enjoyed the photography, the directing. It's a very consistent show. I would give it an A because I couldn't give it less. It would be unfair of me to give it less just because I know the quality of it. It's well written, well directed, it's well everything. It's very well everything, actually. I
enjoy this show. I'm going to watch it again. I want to own it on Blu-ray. I want to see the making of. I want to see interviews with the cast, with the directors, the writers. I want to see how they did these beautiful shots, the cinematography. I want to understand the true story that it was based on. I would actually really want to watch a pilot for a spin-off where you follow John Turturro's character.
Yeah, I would like that.
If the pilot worked, I would watch the show. Let's see who is involved, how they make a show. There was not one episode that I was like, oh, well, this episode was passable. No, there were moments that were passable, but they were very small moments, and it was moments that if you took out of the show, it would really not affect them that much. So I have to... But it
would kill the momentum and what the show stands for,
Yeah. So I have to give this show an absolute kneel before me. So those are our thoughts on The Night Of. On her channel, we have what?
We reviewed Stranger Things. So, the show of the moment.
Yeah, go watch that on her channel. Watch this video again. We also have other collabs coming. Those are very special videos. Have many reviews this past week. Have many more reviews to come. Hope you enjoy them. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. We are 14 subscribers away from 250. Let's make it together. You can stalk me on the internet through my Facebook, Instagram, our vlog channel. Those links are all in the description. And let me know your questions for the Magnificent 7 Q&A. Just hashtag Mag7Q&A. It is in the description for you to leave your questions about anything in the comments below and maybe win something. Thank you so much for watching again. I love you all. Stay beautiful. Cheers!